Welcome, 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 welcome to another Spiritual Awakening with yours truly, Dr. A.G. Green Sr. I'm so excited and delighted that you're checking in this particular day. No matter what time of day it is you're watching me, thank you so much for taking our time in your schedules to drop by. Tag and share, share and tag. Tag and share. Share and tag. Tag and share. Share and tag. Let people know that we are on the air. And what an awesome, awesome privilege it is for people to know that we are here in this moment. There may be physical distance, but there isn't spiritual distance. We're all connected in consciousness. Almighty, I thank you for this time, this moment, this opportunity. Thank you that your will is done in us, with us, through us, even as you in us, as a part of us. And we thank you for guidance. We thank you for instruction. We thank you for the emergence of supernatural wisdom and knowledge. Thank you for transformation. Thank you for elevation. Even thank you for enabling us to walk as the best version of ourselves, to fulfill higher purpose on a higher plane. We thank you and we bless you. By Yeshua's name, his way, power, consciousness, it is so. And so it is. Let me know if you can see and hear me well. Let me know if you can see and hear me well. You are watching Spiritual Awakening with A.G. Green Sr. Again, thank you so much for tuning in with us on tonight. Let's see who else has popped in here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Again, tag and share, share and tag, tag and share, share and tag. I always like to remind you that you are a part of God. God is a part of you. You are the offspring of the infinite. Physical form, you're limited. In spiritual form, you're unlimited. And that is due to the properties and qualities that you and I have as a result of the Creator, the Source, and the Sustainer. And there are moments where we think that we don't have power, but I always like to remind you that I am powerful. Even the biblical text says, now to him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, it's according to the power that worketh in us. It worketh in us, it worketh through us, it worketh with us. I want you to type with excitement in the comment section, I am powerful. While you're typing it, I want you to speak it aloud. I am powerful. Come on, type it in the comment section. I am powerful. That's it. Type in the comment section. I am powerful. And I dare you to say it out loud. I dare you to speak it in the atmosphere you're in. I am powerful. I dare you to consider what may appear to be an opposition and speak directly to it in your imagination. I am powerful. Oh, what a wonderful thing it is to know that you know that you know, and to embrace God-given inherent power. Power by permission of the Creator. Power with permission of the Creator. I am powerful. What a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing it is to own the power, to know the power, to embrace the power, to exercise the power, to be the power. I am powerful. And believe it or not, there are people who have inherent challenges with embracing the power that they possess. They have inherent struggles with owning the power that they are. And what a wonderful, wonderful thing it is. A wonderful, wonderful thing it is to be able to stand in that power and own that power. I dare you to say it again. I dare you to type it again in the comment section. I am powerful. I am powerful. Come on, type it in the comment section. I am powerful. Awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you, Almighty, for this wonderful inherent power. This wonderful power that we so rightfully possess. Yes, 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 yes. I'm trying to get a quote up here for you. Let's see what I can do about it. Let's see what I can do about it. I want you to see it vividly in living color, just how powerful you are. Wonderful quote as we're talking about who and what we are. One R, two N's. As we are expressing in the moment the power that we have permission to be, I want to put this wonderful quote up, which is one of my favorite quotes. And believe it or not, people are even challenged with embracing the power that they believe only belongs to a ubiquitous, all-powerful God. Unknowingly, they are the offspring of this all-powerful God. They are one and joined to this all-powerful God. And by permission, allowed to be powerful. Marianne Williams has a quote that I've loved for years. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is us that we are powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? End quote. I want you to type it in the comment section. I am brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Come on, type it in the comment section. I am brilliant, gorgeous. Come on now. I am brilliant, gorgeous, fabulous, and talented. Come on, type that in the comment section. Now you can see it better. Type it, type it, type it, type it, type it. And maybe one day we'll examine the power of the quote. Maybe they will understand or examine, I should say, the depth to gain understanding of the power of the quote. But I used it today because there are many, many people who are having inner tension that they deal with all the time because they are afraid of owning the power. They're afraid of acknowledging the power. They believe that if they own it and acknowledge it, it somehow, some way will put them in a position that's disfavorable to the Creator. When the truth be told, you are designed as a powerful spirit being to operate in power and authority. Come on, type in the comment section. I am brilliant, gorgeous, fabulous, and talented. Can you speak it out loud? I am brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Ooh, yes, 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 yes. Own it. It's divinely delegated. It's divinely given. It is your right and it is your privilege to be the greatest you that exists in multiversional or multiversion possibilities. My goodness, I'm so glad to see you here. Can I ask you a question? Have you ever been afraid to acknowledge and own the power that you possess? Talk back to me. I want to hear your answers. Have you ever been afraid to acknowledge and own the power that you possess and the power that you are? I want to hear your comments. I want to see your answers real quickly. I know we got some other things to do, but I want to hear your answers real quickly here. I want to see who I'm talking to here today. I want to see where you stand with this context, with this quote. Thank you. Good to see you on, Linda. Have you ever been afraid to acknowledge and own your power? Talk back to me. Let me see your comments in the comments section. Believe it or not, let's see here. Our resident therapist says, yes, in the past, I had to get over the fear. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yes, yes, yes. Anybody else want to share? Anybody else want to share their thoughts on this subject? Have you ever been afraid to acknowledge and own the power you possess? Look at the yeses coming in. Yes is coming in from YouTube and Facebook. Wonderful. Thank you for your transparency. Thank you for your honesty. Can I ask you this? Have you ever examined or considered why? Or did you ever come to a conclusion of why you were afraid to acknowledge and own the power you are and the power you possess? I know we're starting out a different way tonight, but I'm curious to know, what was your why? What was your why that you came to this conclusion? What was the reason why you came to this conclusion? I'm just curious to know, if you don't mind sharing why you challenges acknowledging and owning the power that you possessed and the power that you are. So I'm waiting on your answers. Don't forget to follow me at the social media uh, sites that you see at the bottom of the screen. And of course, AG Green Now, at AG Green Now is the name that you can find me on the various social media platforms. Follow me there. We've got a couple of new videos up at this time on TikTok. Also, I'll talk about Patreon in a minute. Got some new videos up on Facebook as well. We're going to do some on IG in the next day or two. Let's see. Your answers are coming in right now. Uh, let's see. Worry more about what people would say or think. All right. Yes, yes, yes. That's a good one. Anybody else want to share? Anybody else want to share? There's another one. Let's see. My dysfunctional opinion of myself and opinion of others is my why. Wow. Powerful, powerful, brutally honest analysis of self there. Thank you so much for that. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Believe it or not, um, when this subject comes up and we start talking about owning the power, number one, the challenge always occurs where people think when you own the power, you own your talents, gifts, and abilities, that you're being arrogant. And the truth be told, you've been designed to fulfill a purpose and you need these talents, gifts, and abilities to do it. And of course, if you have a healthy self love, then you're always going to acknowledge God and you're always going to acknowledge what you believe to be the source of the power. In many cases, it's not arrogance, as the resident therapist has said. It could be related to a dysfunctional opinion of ourselves. That's not arrogance. That's not even humility. It's false humility that prevents people from being able to develop a comfort level in just loving themselves and embracing themselves, even their skills and abilities. It could be connected to a multiplicity of roots. We could probably identify many places of origin in everyone's personal life who's represented as to why they had challenges embracing the good parts of them, the good side of them, why they had challenges in being able to even graciously own what they are, what they do, uh, what they have been gifted to do before they came into this world. So, uh, as a result of that, there are many reasons. Sometimes it could be uh, an inferiority complex has developed because a lack of validation in youth. They could be struggling with rejection. There could be many reasons why they're struggling with rejection. They could be struggling with the self image. The self image, again, could have been marred or could have been attacked by other people or experiences that they interpreted in such a way where they minimize and reduce themselves to such miniature stature that they felt unworthy of being great. They felt unworthy of being able to even voice that they're good or voice that they're great at something. So, this message, I am powerful, I believe it's a global message because there are not as many people who know it and own it as you might think. And uh, I guess, am led to go in this direction purposely because when the message comes up and sometimes people drop by, again, they confuse our owning of power as if it's somehow insulting God, the source and the creator of his power. And this is what I want to say to people who had these crude, primitive concepts of what you believe to be an omnipotent being. I don't care what you read in the text, it does not logically make sense for an omnipotent being to be on the edge of its seat, so to speak, and wondering about whether it is receiving credit or not. An omnipotent being would be perfect, meaning that not only in its perfection does it exist in a state of perfection, it exists in a state of self containment. It is self powered, self generated, really doesn't need anybody or anything, and is not going to struggle with feeble thoughts and emotions like jealousy, envy, and insecurity, because it is an omnipotent being that lacks nothing nor needs nothing. Am I making any sense to anybody? I hope I'm getting some likes and hearts. And so, you embracing your intelligence, you embracing your beauty or your handsomeness, you embracing the fact that you are smart, you're good at math, you're good at English, you're good at writing, you're good at supporting, you're good at creating things, you're good at making things, you're good at fixing things, you're good at designing, you're good at loving folks, you're good at leading, you're good at counseling, you're good at teaching, you're good wherever it is you've been placed. There's nothing wrong with you owning that. And there's nothing wrong for you being thankful and constantly remembering that you have been designed. You came into this world, you stepped into that power, and you have permission to step into it. And you're grateful that the Almighty, the source, the sustainer, and the creator has enabled you to find and discover these gifts, these talents, gifts, and abilities, and operate in it. Paul said, by the grace of God, I am that I am. And so we recognize that by grace, we are who we are, and we shouldn't have a difficult time owning it, but we've been taught we shouldn't own it. So when messages like this go forth, the first thing people do in a primitive religious conceptual framework is think I am somehow robbing the creator of credit. You're not robbing an omnipotent being of credit. It's not even possible for you to do that. And it's not even possible, in my opinion, for an omnipotent being to experience jealousy. When you see that in the biblical text, these are anthropomorphic interpretations. These are people trying to put human framework, human understanding, human language to a being that really can't experience these things, to be honest. I don't want to mess up your theology. But I don't know. I just sense to go in that direction today. I'm going to keep flowing with that, but I want to check in on you real quickly. I don't want to break up the flow, but then I do want to break up the flow because this is where I get a chance to just interact and just check on you for a few minutes. Then I'm going to get into a little bit of teaching and I'm going to keep it going. So I want to check in with you real quickly. Tell me how you are doing. Tell me how you are doing, what's good, and how's your week been going thus far? I want to hear about it. How's your week been going thus far, real quickly? How's your week been going thus far? What's good? What's good? That's one of my favorite sayings. What's good? And tell me about your week, real quickly. Tell me about your week, because I want to know. And you're always in my thoughts, ever present in my thoughts, always in my consciousness, always in my awareness. So, real quickly, chime in. Don't everybody jump in at the same time. And let me know. Let's see. Let me know. Our resident therapist, Pastor Jerry Cotton, is saying it's difficult accepting our power because of our opinion of ourselves is ingrained in our ideology, which is also our theology. I totally agree with that. Let's see. I think that's Wakita. Thank you. She says, can't complain. My week has been great. Wonderful. Wonderful. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else want to share what's good? Tell me about your week. Let's see. He says, I'm well and peaceful. Wonderful. Wonderful. Anyone else want to share about how your week has been going thus far, whether you're watching us live or on another day in replay? It's totally fine. You can always participate, and I get to come back sometimes and look at the comments as well to see how your week has been going. All right. Linda says, good, good. My Krista says, week seems to be moving fast. All right. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's see. It's been a great, powerful week, says Hillary C. Thank you so much for sharing between YouTube and Facebook how your week has been going. Now, check this out, family. We're going to move on to the next thing, and I'm going to probably teach for maybe another 30 minutes, and then I'm going to release you. Uh, Tonight, I was out last Wednesday because my daughter graduated from Georgia State, my beautiful daughter, Azaria, and so I needed to be there. Uh, I've been with my children, supportive of my children since they came into this world. I even love and support my wonderful bonus children, whom I treat no differently than the biological ones. My bonus son FaceTimed me the other day. He has a wonderful, beautiful daughter that just came into this world, and I treasure that. So, anyway, I just wanted to real quickly check in. Let me make sure that this, what I have, what I'm getting ready to say is correct because I'm getting ready to make an announcement. Getting ready to make an announcement, and I want to make sure that I have the. Yeah, that's right. Look like that's correct. The address. Awesome, awesome. So I have a new blog article up. Anybody familiar with the fact that I have a blog article up? Thank you for the congratulations. A new blog article, and is can anybody tell me what the name of the article is? Matter of fact, put it in the comment section what the name of the article is. And I'm doing a what is that? I think it's a 7 or 8 blog series on something. I know a couple of you read it today. Who can tell me what the series is on? And you're going to have to go to the website that you see on the screen. We have a Patreon community, and I have so many irons in the fire. I have getting back to that. I'm going to, in the next couple of days, put some more content in Patreon as I am trying to place content on other sites I have. But who can tell me what the article is about? Real quickly, the article is about that's on Patreon. Go to patreon.com. And matter of fact, you have to be a free or paid member to be able to read the article. A free or paid member to be able to read the article. Okay, thank you. Uh, he says, a resident therapist says, read the blog. It's amazing. Read. It's entitled Canvas of Consciousness How We Shape Our World. Canvas of Consciousness How We Shape Our World. Thank you so much for that, sir. So you can find that at patreon.com and you can use that, or just go to patreon.com/AG Green now and you can read that article uh, and leave your comments like our resident therapist did. He left his comments that always gives people an understanding of the quality of what they are reading. So I want you to make sure that you go to patreon.com/AG Green now and read that article. I'm going to be doing a little bit of teaching on this platform. These are things that we just really don't discuss. These are things, I should say, that are not discussed in certain communities that need to be discussed. Why am I discussing things like this? Because I have been divinely designed before I came into this world to walk in these dimensions and have these conversations with you that you're not going to hear in most spiritual houses or spiritual places that you attend. Doesn't make me any better and doesn't make them any less. It's just my assignment. And I broach these subjects, I present these subjects intentionally, not just for to provoke your thoughts, but to help you step into the identity, the spiritual identity, or recognize the spiritual identity that exists, the possibilities and the potential or potentiality that exists in terms of who and what you are and who and what you can be. One of the most, I guess I could say, severely underserved side of our presentations within religious circles is number one, the lack of teaching true spirituality and the lack of really preparing an image or adequately presenting from pure spiritual sources and resources what it means to be spiritual and what it means to have a spiritual identity. So for example, what many people don't understand is that the narrative about Yeshua, Jesus the Christ, has been shaped. It's been shaped not by the church in Acts, but has been shaped post Acts by the early church fathers and other people. The perspective of Yeshua in the first century is incredibly different than the perspective we have today. So Christ and the mind of Christ and having the mind of Christ, having the Christ mind, Christ image, Christ body, so forth and so on. What does that really mean in terms of who and what I am? In terms of who and what my spiritual identity was meant to be? What does it mean absent of rules and regulations? What does it mean absent of things that have been injected as filler material that are more humanly contrived and inspired and not spiritually or godly or divinely or inspired by God, the creator, source, and sustainer? I dare to broach these topics because once you have an understanding of the inner workings of something, then you're going to have a better understanding of the inner working of yourself. And so when I decide to do more deeper teaching, and I'm going to put a timeline to it for you real soon here, it's going to be done in Patreon. You're going to have to come over there to see it. Now, there's a free member or a paid member. All right. Why is it paid? Because I deserve to be paid for my service. I deserve to be paid for this. I saw my spiritual. The book talks about you sowing your carnal. That's natural, tangible things. What I have experienced over time, and let me be very transparent with you. Uh, I never charge to love. I never charge to release. I never charge to give. It's an offering. It's a donation you're giving to me in return. But what has happened in my lifetime is that I, like Yeshua, have experienced the 1 out of 10 lepers that were healed. There are a lot of people who've come into my presence. They've heard teaching that radically altered and shifted their lives into higher dimensions. They've experienced miracles, signs, and wonders. And many have not come back to say thank you. They have not come back to say, this made me thousands of dollars. This opened the door for me to get my job. I'm experiencing healing in my family, healing within myself right now as a result of listening to you or reading one of your books. They have not come back to say thank you in a tangible way. Well, I have shifted in consciousness and shifted in my assignment and have been given permission to invite people to elevate their thinking and elevate their ways and elevate their approach to life. I believe that if $1,000 seminar is going to impact my life and enable me to love more, access more in terms of knowledge, who and what I am, help me to love my family, help me to be prosperous in business and in so many other ways, I believe $1,000 is a minimal investment. I use 1,000 as an example. And so is sowing in terms of a membership, a donation every month to access greater content. Am I making any sense to anybody? So, anyway, and last but not least, there are going to be subjects that I touch there that are not for the faint of heart religiously. They're going to be for a group of people who have elevated, who are walking in a place where they are being underserved. There's a hunger and a thirst within all of us, and more specifically to the crowd that I am attracted to and the crowd that is attracted to me. All right. Am I making any sense? Uh, Yeshua talked about the sheep hear and know his voice, and the stranger they will not follow. When there's a signal, there's a frequency that comes out of my mouth whenever I speak, or that is transmitted from me. And those sheep globally will know when they hear that the message is for them. Okay. So I am, by the grace of the Almighty, cultivating and developing that for maybe you and millions of others who will eventually find us in time, whether I'm in this body or out of this body, using the terminology that we call death, which really is non existent, a subject for another time. They will know the message is for them. They will know that this is their tribe, and they will open themselves up for greater levels of revelation, greater levels of knowledge, greater levels of understanding. All right. So there's a wonderful article there on talking about the canvas of consciousness, how we shape our reality. And the first post has been put up and is going to be put up again as post in post form on the Patreon site. And the first article is Reality, the Art of Seeing, Shaping, and Becoming. Reality, the Art of Seeing, Shaping, and Becoming. I just want to give you some things to consider, give you some things to pray and meditate on. So I've already done a little bit of teaching from this. And I'm just going to kind of go back through it real briefly. I won't be able to cover it all today, but I believe that, of course, that consciousness begins with the creator, the source, and the sustainer. We call God. Some people call Jehovah. There's many names that are giving. Some people call it the field, whatever. I'm talking to not just a Christian crowd. I talk to all kinds of crowds. So I will use certain interchangeable terminologies for that purpose. I want people to understand that God, the creator, source, and sustainer, is infinite as far as we know and eternal, has always existed, has always been. So, as far as we know, consciousness has always existed, period. Before the mountains were born, or you brought forth the whole world from everlasting to everlasting. Psalm 90 and 2 says, You are God. So, we have been created from the Creator. Therefore, we are part of the consciousness of the Creator and have consciousness within ourselves and are connected to others through consciousness, through the stream of consciousness. And so science is starting to confirm on multiple levels, from multiple aspects, from multiple fields within science, that there is a spiritual dimension, that there is a quantum realm, that there's a quantum dimension that does exist. Why is this relevant? Because again, it is connected to reality, is connected to what reality is for us, it's connected to how and what we interpret as reality. I quoted from Donald Hoffman in a wonderful book called The Case Against Reality. He's a cognitive scientist, and he argues that what we perceive is not an objective reality at all, but a user interface designed by evolution to hide the truth in order to help us survive. He says we have been shaped to have perceptions that hide the truth and guide adaptive behavior. Powerful. So thus the world we perceive is not as the world as it is, but the world as it appears to consciousness. Whatever it is you're conscious of is what you are aware of. I want you to type in the comment section, whatever it is I am conscious of is what I am aware of. Type that in the comment section. Whatever it is I am conscious of is what I am aware of. Come on, type that in the comment section. Whatever it is I am conscious of is what I am aware of. I want to see that come in up in the comment section so I can put up somebody's requoting on the screen. Whatever it is I am conscious of uh, is what I am aware of. Let's see it come up. There we go. Thank you so much. Whatever it is I am conscious of is what I am aware of. So in the field, they call quantum mechanics, and you will hear me talk more about quantum mechanics moving forward. Quantum mechanics, in a way, is, how can I put this? A low key definition, or a low key, mm, what's a better word? A low key way of adding scientific language to what would or could be considered spiritual. And the double slit experiment in quantum mechanics is talking about or discussing observation. And I kind of shared that with you before in terms of what the double slit experiment is. And I talk a little bit about that. I'll expand on it later. But basically, subatomic particles were observed in an environment. And remember, everything is believed to be in what they call wave form or particle form. And they were expecting these subatomic particles, when they uh, encountered a wall, to act a certain way. But what they begin to see was, or observe was, when they put a micro, it's not a microscope, but a micro instrument to observe it, that the wave changed into a particle form. This is in defiance of what's called Newtonian and Cartesian law, because Newtonian law believes in cause and effect, or a predictable cause and effect. Quantum mechanics taught us, or is learning through this experiment, in that the subatomic particles acted differently, collapsed into what's called a particle. And a particle is to be associated with three-dimensional, or what we call physical matter. It acted differently when it was being observed. Well, this is a powerful concept. Why is it a powerful concept, Green? Because subatomic particles make up atoms. Atoms make up what? Molecules. Molecules make up what? Cells. We can keep going and going until we get to what we call the more solid physical state. Everything that exists is made up of subatomic particles. The subatomic particles, again, make atoms. What are atoms? What protons, electrons, and neutrons are located. And these make up molecules. Do I need to keep going? Up, 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 up. So at the heart of everything are subatomic particles, which is purely energy. And remember, I shared with you, I believe it was on Sunday, that subatomic particles, or atoms themselves, are made up of 99.99999% energy. Did you catch that? 99.99999% energy. And we are point, or the atom is 0.0001% matter, or physical. So there's a duality that exists there, where it is both invisible and visible. Watch this, both local or non-local. Did you catch that? So it can be surmised then from the double slit experiment, and I will break it down in more exact, not just exact terms, but give you the more of the specifics of the experiment, and not in technical terms, but in terms that we all can understand, that's easy for us to digest, to show you how they came to this conclusion. But I just gave you the general overall um, hypotheses that came forth out of the experiment. So the very fact that it acted differently because it was being observed, family, on the subatomic level, said there is a level of consciousness that exists there. Well, who created the atom? And who created the subatomic particles that make the atom? God, the creator, the source and sustainer. Watch this. So this energy that exists in the atom, which again is predominantly energy, Again, these atoms make up what? Molecules. These molecules make up what? Cells. Okay. Are you getting where I'm going now? The main portion of us is energy. A small fraction of us is physical. Catch that. See, this is what's slowing me down now because I only got like 9 or 10 minutes left. All right. So before science was able to again experiment, somewhat define, give us an understanding, spiritual teachers have been talking about this stuff for years. They had encounters with God, encounters with the divine, uh, higher level, higher dimensional experiences that reveal to them that we are spirit. And again, when this stuff is taught in churches, mosques, and synagogues, that we are spirits, people leave out the aspect that number one, physically, the 0.001% of our existence that's physical is still made up of this energy. All right. Number one. But two, it's not mentioned that spiritual beings are energy beings. For one, hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, this concept was foreign to many people. But again, always remember there are going to be forerunners that exist in every generation. I want you to type the comment in the comment section forerunners. Type forerunners, plural, forerunners. And these are always people who are ahead of their time. For whatever reason, they have a deeper, more intimate connection with the other side, what we call the other side. Okay. Some of them have had encounters with what are called extra dimensional beings. I don't want to get into that because some of y'all don't even believe in aliens and you don't believe in other dimensions that exist that inhabit beings. I don't want to go there. But however it is, they came into a knowledge of something that existed, a world, a realm, a dimension that existed beyond sight. And some of them wrote about it. And some of them in these encounters traveled there, had conversations with God, Yeshua, whoever it is, to reveal certain things to them about what existed on the other side. Even in the biblical text, Paul says, he talks about knowing a man that was in the body or out of the body, you could not tell. Well, many scholars believe he's talking about himself. And he talks about how he was caught up, into this dimension and saw things that were unlawful for men to utter. Okay, I can go on and on and on and on. So throughout time, within the last several thousand years, there are people who have had knowledge of these things before they were able to, through experimentation and through the development of instruments, efficiently and adequately analyze or be able to actually confirm through experimentation of what the spiritual masters and the spiritual teachers have been saying for years. All right. So even the text that I love in Mark that I talk from quite often, Mark 9:23, I believe it is, thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. Even the text, become what you believe. According to your faith, so be it unto you. That's the message translation, become what you believe. And then the other text in Mark, have faith in God, for verily I say unto you that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, y'all know the text, I could quote it all. And then verse 24, what things soever you desire when you pray, believe that ye receive them and ye shall have them. It's in line with what is starting to be realized. Number one, uh, from psychology to sociology, and these other studies are proving that your predominant thoughts are the things that's creating your reality. The thing that you think about the most is going to eventually show up in a physical form in your life. Your perception, which creates an inner reality or an inner filter, and I talked about this, becomes the lens that shapes what we call the external world. And remember, I brought up these terms cognitive biases and mental models. Okay. Mostly the general population ignores it, but psychologists know they exist. All right. Remember, I talked to you about how the mind uses shortcuts or what's called heuristics to interpret information quickly. And that's often at the cost of accuracy, meaning that the mind itself is determining before analysis what it considers to be the reality, the gravity of the reality of a situation. And again, what does that have to do with your inner perception, your mind's inner perception based on its experiences or based on what it is prognosticating the situation to be? All right. So the bottom line is that we all exist in what Robert Anton calls reality tunnels. Reality tunnels. He says we're all looking from the point of view of our own reality tunnel. Remember, this reality tunnel would be our perceptions and our perspectives, our mindsets and our paradigms. It's our preconceived beliefs, our preconceived core beliefs, our core beliefs. He goes on to say, when we begin to realize that we can then begin to open our minds to possibilities we had previously rejected. Do you realize why it is difficult for people to accept something new? It's because they are always embracing the old, which causes them to reject the new. It is why, hear me, this is a powerful statistic. Do you realize 89, 90% of the people who start in a religion will die in the same religion? And do you know why? It's because of what I just said. They have been conditioned to live in an intellectual loop or in a reality tunnel that will not, if they don't change it, allow them to think any differently. Ooh, did you hear what I just said? And that reality tunnel, family, is where you're going to form or where your understanding is going to exist. It's where what you think to be true or false is going to emanate from. You're going to make your decisions from this reality tunnel, which again is consciousness and is your state of consciousness. This is where you're going to make these decisions from. A lot of folks, watch this, don't understand that the God part of you, the God self of you, can be limited by what I described Sunday as a persona or your ego. God is a part of everybody. God exists in everybody. The same God that created the atoms and subatomic particles that exist, that energy is God's energy that exists on all level, that is responsible for organized creation and organized structures, physical structures that we see in the world. Again, the basic fundamental uh, 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 parts or material of all these things is energy. But what I want you to understand is that you and I are going to, if we're going to live within these reality tunnels, whether they're good or bad, and even God, hear me. I know this may sound crazy, but this is why you read in the text, in the biblical text, God always has to prepare people to be used, always has to prepare people to accept the message, always has to prepare people for whatever it is their purpose is. They have to, at some point in time, like Moses, accept that you have an assignment, even with your weaknesses. Remember, I've kind of discussed this. They have to, at some point in time, like Joshua, at some point in time, like Gideon, embrace that they're worthy, embrace that they're capable, embrace that they're qualified. But why is this the case? Because the Almighty is here to have a partnership. Am I making any sense? A partnership. I want you to type it in the comment section. My reality is maximized with my partnership with God. My reality is maximized with and by my partnership with God. My reality, type that in the comment section, is maximized with and by my partnership with God. Even in us being on the series concerning Joshua, Joshua 6, 1 through 2, we spent a couple of months on that. Remember, Joshua still has to get up in that story, gather the men, share the strategy, and then march around that city time after time after time. Even when you read in the text, an angel or something supernatural happening, there are always people present on the ground in boots, so to speak, always people present advancing the agenda. Am I making any sense to anybody? This is why I'm severely disturbed by people. I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to say this. If your life is still centered around, I'm waiting on God, you are living in spirituality 101. Number one, that God lives and moves in you. Number two, that God should be guiding you daily. So if you're saying you're waiting on him and nothing is happening, and 6 months have gone by, and 1 year has gone by, and 2 years, you're still living in a codependent version of God, a codependent understanding of God, not an interdependent one, where God wants to desire your presence and utilize you, and you require God's presence and to utilize what God has, not I am some like helpless, hapless addict or helpless, hapless being who can't do nothing except God do everything for me. And I want to ask you a logical question. If God has to do everything, why are you here? If God is supposed to do everything, why did God allow you to come into this existence just so it could do everything for you? Hear me. So this is why people are waiting on God to be healed and they die. They're waiting on God to send a husband that never shows up. They're waiting on God to give them a car that never happens, because this is a partnership, family. This is a partnership. I love that story. See, I have given you the vision. The city, we talked about it, Ra'ah. The many, many applications of the Hebrew word Ra'ah, from mental sight to the experiencing of within the inner vision of seeing yourself conquering the city before you ever march. All of this stuff is a partnership. Number one is something you do as a divine spiritual being. Number two, you allow, as Joshua did, the advice of the Creator to speak to you from within. Now that you have seized it, then it's wonderful how the strategy will unravel before you. But you sitting around here talking about, I'm just waiting on the Lord. And don't get me wrong, you can manifest situations sporadically. And this is what people are getting, sporadic results. I believe in consistent results, but y'all like sporadic. Okay, I waited on them and it just happened. No, but it happened in an isolated or a few isolated situations. But you're not going to see consistent success because it is designed, family, for you to see it first, for you to embrace it first. That's why I love the text again about the blind men coming to Jesus. He says, according to your faith, so be it unto you. I have exegeted that text before. It is their faith. Well, what is their faith? Their faith is a vision. What is that vision? In their imagination, they saw Yeshua as the solution for healing. In other words, they saw themselves approaching Yeshua, requesting to be healed, and they were healed. That's why the Message Bible says, become what you believe. The King James Version says, according to your faith, so be it unto you. He was saying, what your faith has already decided, I'm just going to agree with it. They provided the imagination. They provided the faith. They provided the mastery of their own blindness. They provided the insight within themselves, the inner vision to see that they were healed by the hand of Yeshua. So he just said, just according to what you believe. Well, apparently they believed they were healed. Apparently they believed they could see. That's why their sight came in the physical sense. It was already there as a reality within them. Partnership, family. They provided the image. They provided now faith. The conviction of religious truth concerning God is the substance translated as assurance and the evidence of things not seen, the substance of things hoped for, excuse me, the assurance of expectation. That's what hope is. And the evidence of the proof of the unseen. They provided that. So their faith said, oh, we see. We are seeing now if we get to Yeshua. He said, I'm just going to agree with what you've already done by faith. I'm just going to agree with what you're already experiencing by faith. Partnership, family. It's a partnership. And I'm so tired of y'all begging. At some point in time, you got to advance in your spirituality to understand what kind of God are you serving that you got to beg for days and days and days on end just to get a little bitty teensy answer. You got to beg to get a car. You got to beg to get a house. You got to beg to get a husband or wife. You got to beg to get a tuition. You got to starve yourself to get it. What? This ain't popular. But Yeshua didn't work like that. That's not what he said in Mark chapter 11. That's not what he said in Matthew chapter 9. That's not what he said in Matthew 17. Do I need to keep going? You're begging because you think it's all on the creator, which he made you a creator. He made you a manifester. He's already endowed you with power and abilities and given you permission to be and to do. My Lord. My Lord, I don't see no likes and hearts. I'm looking at my phone now. I don't see one like. I don't see one heart. Now, this is where people get confused. So you sit around talking about you waiting. And so what happens is in your imagination, you're creating an incomplete miracle because your imagination consists of just waiting around for something to happen. And what happens is you're waiting around and you're telling yourself, your faith is saying, well, I'm just waiting. And the longer I wait, eventually it will manifest. And sometimes it does and sometimes it don't. Because again, this is what you're transmitting into the world. This is the faith that you're using to create your own paradoxical reality. Oh my goodness. See, this is why, this is why, this is why. The great mystic Neville Goddard says, it's not what you want that you attract. You attract what you believe you are. From the feeling is the secret. I want people to understand that even in neuroscience, studies show that sustained emotional states literally rewire the brain, creating neural pathways that make certain perceptions and reactions more likely. This is from Davidson and Begley, The Emotional Life of Our Brain, written in 2012. Thus, changing your feelings changes your wiring, which changes your perception, which changes your experience. This is why I said in the article, emotion is the brushstroke of the artist. That is you. The power behind this statement and the mystic Neville God, again, is similar to what Yeshua said. It's on par with what Yeshua said before they all came on the scene. It is according to your faith. It is according to what you see and believe in your heart. The woman with the issue of blood proved that. Do I need to keep going? Do I need to keep going? So even from a physiological standpoint, family, your brain is wired to think scarcity. Your brain is wired to think I'm a victim. Your brain is wired to think folk are after me. Your brain is wired to think people are constantly lining up to beat me up and disrespect me. Or your brain is wired to think folks love me. Or your brain is wired to think things are always going to work out for me. Or your brain is wired to think I'm handsome and lovely. Or your brain is wired to think I'm worthy. You and I, family, are creating these experiences. We are creating these experiences. Hear what I'm saying today. And I requote again from the scientists. These studies show that sustained emotional states literally rewire the brain, creating neural pathways that make certain perceptions and reactions more likely. Well, why is that? It's because we are conscious creators. We are conscious creators who are always transmitting. Do you realize that your faith, yes, begins internally, but your faith is also transmitted? Do you realize that your thoughts are affecting subatomic particles and atoms and molecules and cells? Did you know that? Have you ever heard of EEG? And what an EEG is doing is recording brain waves, putting anodes or whatever, or that cap on your head. Okay, they don't have to pierce the skin; they literally sit it on your head, and whatever it is you're thinking is being registered in the on the EEG machine. Isn't that powerful? What that ought to tell you is that this is happening all the time, even now while I'm talking. Whatever your predominant thoughts are, they're going out into the world. They're affecting matter around you. Our thoughts, first of all, are electrical, but they're also, studies have shown that it's in a form of light. Hear what I'm saying today? Because those cells, again, are made of atoms, and those atoms, again, are made of subatomic particles in your brain. Your thinking, again, is energy. And that energy is powerful, but it's being transmitted like an antenna. It's sending out signals all the time. And what you're seeing is stuff reflecting back to you of what you transmitted. Oh my goodness. That's a good place for me to stop. Am I making any sense to anybody? I'm over time. Am I making any sense to anybody today? And I'm hungry too. Am I making any sense to anybody? So I gotta stop there. I was just talking about this rope. That's part one. Reality, the art of seeing, shaping, and becoming. And maybe next week I'll pick up and finish part one of that article. I just wanted to give you a taste. You get to read it, and I just want to break down for you because I know this is new for many people, but this is all connected to the spiritual dimension, the spiritual universe, and of course, the quantum realm. It all relates to who and what we are. It all relates to divinity. It all relates to godliness. It all relates to identity. It all relates to you and I, family. So our assignment, and I got some pointers at the end of this first blog entry as to what you can do. You're going to read it first, and then hopefully next week or the week after, because I'll be doing this, I'll get a chance to touch on it and give you more specific one-on-one pointers that if you apply it, it's going to help you rewire your brain. And last but not least, this is a safe community. We're all rewiring our brain. We're all evolving, transforming, and ascending, beginning with me. So you're in a safe place. Offer yourself grace. If you are not consistent with it tomorrow, that's all right. Keep trying, keep pushing. It's imperative that you and I gain an understanding of these truths with God's permission to shift the course of our lives, because we're shifting our thoughts. We're shifting the things we're thinking about, which means we're shifting the things we're believing, which means we're transmitting into the world and effectively partnering with God to produce the stuff that we really want, because we're thinking in faith, persistently and consistently, with praise and gratitude and humility, what already is, not with fear, not with loss, not with anxiety, not with a cognitive bias that's bent toward destruction or failure, but with a cognitive bias that exists toward all things work together for my good. All right. Love y'all so much. Now that you've heard this good teaching, I want to thank you in advance for the donation that you're going to give today, whatever size you want to give. And remember also that when you go to the Divine Species Shop, whether that's on Etsy or whether it's on my own platform, divinespeciesshop.com, that also is money that goes back into this ministry, back into this business, back into this work, whatever you want to call it, that enables me to continue to do my research, expand my platforms, bring more people in, develop courses. I'm trying to develop courses, all these things. It takes money, time, outsourcing, all this kind of stuff. Your donations are going to that, okay? As well as to continue to empower me to do this, spend my time and energy to prepare for you and for the world. So every donation you give is put toward a good purpose. $ AG Green or $ AG Green Enterprises. All right. You can also give by Zelle. If you want to give by Zelle, inbox me and I'll give you the information to give by Zelle. Or you can just go to theaggreen.com. Somebody type it for me in the comment section, and all of the ways you can donate are listed on theaggreen.com. Again, visit there this week. New stuff is up now. Okay, I just put up some ways for you to bank. You need second chance banking, save money, and yes, I do get a small percentage when people sign up. I'm here to make this work for you and for me and continue to advance this cause. All right, theaggreen.com. That's C-O-M, not C-O-N, but C-O-N-O-M. All right, visit there and you can find out the different ways to donate if you can't catch it right now. Okay, guess what, y'all? I love you. I appreciate you. Y'all so awesome. Let me put it up on the screen. I'm getting ready to release you with the Shalom blessing. I think I can find it. Crystal, let's see here. First of all, that's divinespeciesshop.com. And if you want to find my store on Etsy, just type in Divine Species Shop. I have a store on Etsy that's got several sales. People from all over the world come by. I pray and do all kinds of wonderful, marvelous things to serve because I am a servant. All right, let me find it. It's in here somewhere. I think I can put it up on the screen. theaggreen.com, going once, going twice. If I don't find it, there it is. You can remember what it is. Check in every week. We're updating, adding new stuff, so forth and so on. Share the website. Who's going to share that website with people for me? Let me see in the comment section. I need y'all to start sharing the website. Who's going to share the website? theaggreen.com. Let me see. Let me see in the comment section. Let me see by likes and hearts. I want you to share and say, hey, check it out. Some good stuff on here. Check it out. This is who I listen to. Check it out. Listen to some teaching. Check it out. Support the store. Thank you. I got one me. Let me get some more me's up in here. Text it to folk. Okay, I got another one. Thank you so much. And don't just do it once. Do it several times. Do it just for the heck of it, as they say. Do it just because it came across your mind. I got another me. Yeah, share it. Tell them this is a good place to go. It's good teaching there, good information. Visit the store, healthcare product, whatever you want to do. Podcasts. Thank you for all the me's. Thank you for all the wonderful support. All right. And I thank y'all for hanging in there with me to the end. Last but not least, did you enjoy the teaching tonight? Let me hear from you. Did the teaching resonate with you? Did it make sense to you? Did you feel it? Could you connect with it? Let me hear you real quickly. Let me hear your feedback. Is this making sense? I know this might be new to some people, but are the dots being connected for you? I'm just curious. Are some of the dots starting to connect for you? Real quickly. Let's see. Loved it. Thank you so much. Anybody else? And I will continue as necessary to add layers and layers and layers to this. Anybody else? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you for your feedback. Love you so dearly. I'm going to release you today with the Shalom blessing. Shalom, shalom. Peace, wholeness, prosperity, nothing missing, and nothing broken in your life. It is so, and so it is. Keep watching the pages, keep supporting the content, and see you soon. Love y'all.